Welcome everybody here, Brady from BGWX, and we're back here for another video. No live stream from last night, but still a video to give you guys for some content and just a little breakdown on what's going on here. So again, same forecast is kind of on track as we talked about on stream last night or 2 nights ago, depending on how you view it, and you can see the upper level energy here, still too broad to really consolidate for a snowstorm for many people. However, what we are going to see here is enough consolidation here of the upper level energy early on so that we'll use a NAM 3K here, for example, and we'll pull up little surface precipitation, and we'll go reflectivity type, and I'll show you here that there is going to be some precip associated with this, so we are going to have to keep an eye on the fact that after the passing glance, and we said a general 4 to 8, but a boom scenario of 8 to 12, and we did see that across we did see that come together across a lot of the area, and I'm glad that Delmarva area verified in terms of my idea on the forecast, which was nice to see. But we also had that that area in Southeast Virginia get hit pretty hard as well. Seems like it's going to be a good amount of 6 to 12s, which is awesome. I think I said like 4 to 8, 5 to 10, and that boom scenario would be about 8 to 12 plus. And that's certainly, we saw that boom scenario kind of happen for some of these people, at least just in my thoughts. But as you can see upcoming here, then this passes, and we'll see a glancing blow here to the Cape and Islands. I think we could get at least an inch or two on the Cape Cod potentially, and I think we could maybe get at least 2 to 5 inches maybe on Nantucket as a general idea. It could be a close call though. It wouldn't shock me if it was only 1 to 3, as a general range. But again, Nantucket's a small island, so there's not going to be too many snowfall reports out of there. So we'll kind of see what kind of reports we can get out of there. But I do expect that we do see some backfilling of the precip a little bit. More upper level energy still needs to come through, and take a look here. There is still going to be probably a coating to 1 inch to 2 inches max. Maybe can't rule out some isolated higher totals across some areas across Jersey, Pennsylvania. Could be some light snow even across Maryland, DC, into the Delmarva. Again, you can't rule out, and also back down into the Carolinas as well. North Carolina, South Carolina, could certainly be some light snow that moves through for these regions. And then as we slide here back to the Northeast, we could see it's going to be cold snow. So not a lot of lift in our dendritic grossum where snowflakes are made, but there is going to be enough saturation, I think, and cold enough. Our dendritic grossum is going to be low enough in the atmosphere to support basically just fluffier snow, accumulating snow. So when it does fall, it may not be that hard to be able to get like a ½ inch or inch of snow potentially. So keep an eye on that, especially Long Island. Wouldn't shock me if we had some 1 to 3 inch reports there. Could even be some ocean effect bands that set up across Cape Ann, Cape Cod, off of Long Island as well. So I'd keep an eye on that. Now, broke that down. Here's the general idea going forward here. So what are we looking at in the long range here? Here's the next setup here, and we can use ensembles that will work fine as well to get a general idea, but we'll go to 500 millibar height here. So we'll go higher up in the atmosphere, take a look at the height charts, and notice maybe something to keep an eye on. Maybe there could be some precipitation early and mid next week to keep an eye on. Maybe a small storm system is certainly possible, but this is where the attention, I think, will start to shift. We talked about it on stream a couple nights in a row. I think this is the next watch period right here for potentially a dynamic storm. It would be at the end of February, potentially that last day of February, to keep an eye on. And you see here what we have is, let me break it down for y'all. And the idea here is that this setup is we have this ridge here in the west, and we have cold air to the north. Then we also have this ridge to the east. So we have this long range ridging and troughing pattern, which means basically big dip in the jet stream. That's kind of what we're looking at here. And it's the idea potentially, what's been the theme for a lot of this winter is the cold air is pressed more than expected, right about in this range too, where models have underestimated it. And currently some models say, maybe this polar vortex lobe here to the north may not get far enough north to inject it, or far enough south, sorry, to inject maybe enough cold air for there to be snow for some people further south. But it's hard to say on the exact specifics right now, so I don't even want to go into that. But I would be keeping an eye on the takeaway. What I'd be keeping an eye on is the location here of this polar vortex lobe to the north, and then we'll have a strong potential piece of upper level energy to the south here, and we're going to have to keep an eye on potential storm system just that drops in here that potentially would ride either off the coast or up the coast, somewhere along those lines. But there would be an idea for a dynamic storm track due to the nature of the setup here, due to this long range ridging and troughing setup. So that's ultimately what I'm going to be keeping an eye on in the long range. And then as we head into March here, I think opportunities for snow will continue. That looks like another opportunity, for snow to potentially continue. And some of the long range ensembles suggest that to maybe that the look down the line here as we head into early March might continue to support opportunities for snow. And maybe you can't even rule out the mid-Atlantic, but especially the north and mid-Atlantic and northeast, that will continue, and probably into some places in the Midwest, even though it's a little out of my forecasting expertise. I'm not an expert, but that's how I'll phrase it as. And that is kind of what's on tap up here coming up. So that's the general idea. Winter's not over yet, folks, by any means. So if you're waiting for that big storm system, I'm not going to guarantee it, obviously, but there's still a chance if you want to see. Obviously, we've had plenty of snow events this year, but obviously a lot of you want the big snow event. Can't rule it out, but I'm not going to say that this system here coming up to end February is going to be that, but certainly potential for something dynamic to keep an eye on down the line. You can see an example here of the GFS at 500. You can see that's be a pretty dynamic storm system there, deep digging trough, and obviously you can see you create a dynamic system with snow, with big snow potential as well. Not going to go into any specifics on whether or not you could see like double digits or something like that. We're not even tracking a storm whatsoever yet. This is still too far away, probably about 7 or 8 days down the line here, so still pretty far out on the potential timing. But just keep an eye on this down the line here, something we could certainly be tracking pretty soon. So a little quieter upcoming, but maybe not for too long. So appreciate everybody tuning in and wanted to give you all a quick update.